Hello, everybody. My name is Simon Woods. I'm a sales engineer here at Converter, and thanks for watching this video. This is the fourth in a series of videos I've done around integrating between Converter and Adobe's Marketo Engage platform. And in the video today, we're going to be talking extensively about custom data objects and custom activities and how we can integrate with those. The previous videos I've done, it's well worth having a look at those. Video one really covered off the prerequisites required for us to connect in Marketo, and video two talked about Marketo lists, and video three concentrated on Marketo programs. So first and foremost, we have our Marketo integrations campaign here within the Converter platform. So what we need to do is go to Processor. Once in the processor section, we'll go to integrations or integration, and then we can hit configure. So we've already got a integration configured here, or partially configured, but we're going to add the elements we need for custom data objects and a custom activity. So if I click configure, you can see that we've picked up on the API section and the credentials from Credential Manager. You can see the list that we're aiming for is 1006 from Marketo. And then we have the section for custom objects and the section for custom activities. So first and foremost, let's have a look at the custom objects section. So first thing we're interested in is object name. We can ascertain this by going into Marketo, choosing the admin menu, and then clicking on Marketo custom objects. And you can see at the bottom of the list, I have a custom object entitled Marketo intake. So this is one I've created earlier. So I need to highlight that. And you can see here we have display name of Marketo intake and the API name of Marketo intake underscore C. So I need to copy that value and place that against object name in Converter. So next step really is to look at the map the fields in the custom data object against the fields that we have in Converter form that we created for this. So we've added a few fields to our form as well. So first and foremost, let's have a look at the fields within the custom data object. So if I click on fields here, you can see here we have the fields listed alphabetically. And what we're interested actually is the API name, not the display name. You can see that we've got some ones that are standard, like created at, Marketo GUID, and updated at. But we've also got some that we've created. So we've got one called age, gender, and interests, and one called link email, which is really what we're using to link the CDO to the actual person record. So having seen those, what we then need to do is see what fields we have to map to in Converter. So if I go back to my Converter instance, just click save on this for now. We'll come back to it in a second. And then if I go to creatives and then forms, and on forms, if I just click edit, and now we've got the form. So we can see we've got the first four fields that we originally had on the form, but I've also added some fields for the custom data object. So we have a field name called gender, age, and interests. So what I want to do now is enter the Marketo fields and the Converter fields within the configuration. So if I go back into Processor, choose Integration, then hit the configure button, scroll down. So we've got the object name, and then what we need to do is put in the fields, the Marketo fields and the converter field. So our Marketo field for email was link email, and in converter it was email. Next field, age in Marketo, CDO, and age also in converter. And I need to add a couple of more fields here. So in Marketo we had gender, and we had a same corresponding field name in converter. And the final one for the custom object was interests. And we had the same value in the converter field for the same field name in converter. Okay, so if I click save on that, that should be good to go. Right, so we've looked at the custom data object. Now we're going to look at custom activities. So first and foremost, what we want to do is we need to go in and look at the custom activity that we want to add. So if I go back to Marketo, and this time go to custom activities, and I've configured a custom activity here called sign up. And the first thing we're interested in is the ID number. So I want to copy that back to my integration and just paste that in. The next thing we need to do is look at the fields. So when looking at the fields under this particular custom activity, you can see we have one field called I sold and another field called converter course. Okay, so just keep a note of those. And then if we go back into here, so this is slightly different. Most of the time we have Marketo version field names on the right, and Marketo field names on the left, and convert field names on the right. But in this instance, what we've actually got is name, which will have the Marketo attribute, then value underneath that will be the corresponding converter value. So the first thing we need to do is change where it says converter field, and this is the corresponding converter field name that matches the primary field name. So, and in this case it's called course. And now what we're going to do is put in the the Marketo field name for is sold. If I clear this out from the form, we can now choose our converter field name, which was also sold. So top one is Marketo, lower one is converter in this instance. So if you have more than one field that you want to match between the two, then you have to click add item and name the Marketo value, and then add item underneath called value, and then put in the converter field and what have you. So I'm going to click save on this, and let's go ahead and test it. So go into leads here, and then go to our form. So we're going to enter some detail into the form, and pass the lead through Converter then onto Marketo. So first and foremost, type in my name, type in my email address, choose a number, put the telephone number in, choose the opt-in, and then if I scroll down, you can see that I've got the new fields that were added to the form here. So I have CDO, gender, and age, and interest. So I'm going to say male, age 21, I wish, and then interests, I'm going to say Indian. Good. So now I have the custom activity. So I've got a drop down list. So I'm going to say actually I'm going for an Indian cooking, and was it sold? I'm going to say yes, that was sold. I'm ready to go now. So I'm going to click submit. So let's go back to the converter campaign, and if I just refresh this, we should see that we have our lead come through, and if we look on delivery here, you can say it's integrated with Marketo. So if I go back into Marketo now, and I need to go to database, and I'm looking for, to move me out of the way, I go to group lists, internal lists, and we can see we have Simon's list here. And if I look at people, we can see the lead has actually come in. And then I want to just dig into the lead detail. And looking at the lead detail, if we go to company or info, we can see the information that I inputted in. But also, if you look at custom objects and select our Marketo custom object, you can see that it's recorded in my interest, my age, and the fact that I'm male in the custom object. And if I look in the activity log, we should see that, yep, activity was sign up, details in your cooking. If I look at that, you can see, yes, it's sold was yes. Okay, so hopefully that's been informative and interesting, and shown you how we interact with custom data objects and custom activities within the Marketo platform. Thanks very much for watching the video.